Hey guys, welcome to our stream. I just had a bit of an issue connecting up with the abstract stream. Let me try and fix that real quick. All right, looks like abstract streaming might be down at the moment. So it looks like we'll have to just stream this on YouTube and X. Yeah, it's not letting me start the live stream on abstract, and StreamYard was complaining about not being able to stream there. Let me try and turn that on again real quick. Yeah, I cannot start the stream on abstract. All right. Well, I guess we're streaming to X and YouTube. Let me just quickly repost the stream from my own X. Give me one sec. What's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. Let's go. G Blue to the moon. Millions. What's up, my man? What's up, Depth fam? Oh, can't talk today. All right, give me one sec to repost this on X. Then we'll dive right into it. Sorry, guys. All right, there we go. Reposted the stream. All right, you know what? Let's actually see if we can just communicate that the abstract stream is down, just so we can get those guys over into the YouTube stream. One sec. Just gonna make a quick announcement. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Hopefully, all of our friends on Abstract have found our stream on YouTube or X. But yeah, let's get right into it. So today's stream is at a non-standard time because we had a really special launch today. As a lot of you probably know, we had our depth token trading start late last week, and now we've got the full depth protocol launch. So what does that mean? It means, you know, you can start getting your depth souls and you can start earning through the protocol. And today I'm just going to talk through all the mechanics of the protocol, and I'm going to actually go through and do the whole process right on stream so you guys can see the different ways that you can interact with it and just how the different mechanics of it work. So a couple of things first. So right now, to acquire your very own depth soul, I'm going to just switch to a wallet that does not have one yet. You would head over to My Depth Soul. And from here, if you are connected with AGW, it's going to check if you have gold status. And if you have gold status, you're going to be able to mint that position free of charge. If you don't have gold status, or if you're not on AGW, currently the only option to mint is to pay 125 depth, which I'll go ahead and do that now just to show you guys. There will be another option to connect your Telegram account with your wallet, and you'll be able to qualify for a free mint through our G Blue Telegram bot. That should be coming later on today. I did have an unexpected business trip come up, so I'm actually going to be out in Vancouver from early tomorrow morning until about Saturday morning. So I've been pretty busy getting ready for that. So do apologize that the Telegram mint is not quite up yet, but yeah, as you can see, I just minted my position, so now I have the first tier position. Good morning. Blue Mountain, what's up, buddy? So yeah, you can see here that I've basically, my account now is in the same state as if somebody would have minted for free. I opted to just pay the 125 depth to mint out that position. So actually, I guess before I get into like how to interact with all the mechanics, let's just talk a little bit about how depth works. So depth basically is a soul-bound NFT. It's an NFT that you cannot transfer. Once you mint it, it's yours. It's in your wallet. You can't sell it. You can't transfer it. It's yours forever. What you can do, though, is you can improve it. You can upgrade it. You can do a bunch of different things with it to make it more beneficial to you, to yourself, and to also make the NFT look cooler as you upgrade it. So, I mean, it's really a pretty simple concept. Most guys are going to, a lot of guys are going to qualify for a free NFT. So you're going to be able to get started for free. Basically, let's go over the actual mechanics of how it works. I think the rest of it's going to make a lot more sense. If we get the mechanics out of the way. So if we look over at the docs and we look at the tiers, I'll zoom in a little bit on this. Essentially, everything is based off the cap of your tier. So the first tier, you're going to earn 500 depth, right? That's it at its very core, right? As you upgrade the tiers, you're changing how much depth you're able to earn. Now, there's other mechanics that come into play, but at the very core, that's how this works. So if you upgrade all the way to the top tier, or I guess because we're talking about the ocean at the very bottom tier, you're going to earn 500,000 depth over the course of the cycle of earning, essentially. So basically, the cycle lasts 2 years. So a free tier user or a first tier user is going to get 500 depth over the course of 2 years. And all these other tiers are going to get their cap over the course of 2 years. Now, there's ways that, well, I guess the first thing we should talk about is how do you get to a better tier? Well, you do that just by upgrading, which I'll go ahead and just do an upgrade right now. So you can see I'm going to go from earning 0.68 depth per day to earning 1.36 depth per day. And that's going to be because my cap is going to change from 500 to 1,000. This is actually showing how much of my cap is remaining, but I didn't claim anything yet, so the whole thing is remaining. So let's go ahead and do this upgrade. So I'm doing the approval. Now I'm doing the payment for the upgrade. Okay, so now we're upgraded. So now you can see the coloring changed. The NFT metadata actually takes a little bit of time to update. It's cached. So this is actually the NFT from the original tier that will update shortly. But you can see, so now I am in the reef tier and I'm earning more. And you can see that I can upgrade again to increase my daily earnings and increase my cap. And that all coincides with, what we saw over on the tiers here. Now, what we can do is instead of getting your payout over the course of 2 years, there's a couple of different things that you can do to speed up how fast you earn those tokens that are part of your cap. So the first way, well, I guess the free way is to just be consistent and basically just be active every single day. You can gain up to a 25% speed bonus on how fast you're earning your depth just by checking in every single day. The way that you check in is you just claim up here. I'm revisiting how to structure this dashboard to make it a little bit easier to kind of grasp and, just easier to access the different things. I think right now it's super functional, but I think we can probably lay out the information a little bit better, and I'm actively working on that. But you can see I have a 1 day streak now that I've checked, now that I've claimed. So I am going to add a few more stats here just to make this a little bit easier to understand. But essentially, when I claim again after 24 hours has passed, my streak is going to extend to 2 days. But if I wait 48 hours without claiming, I'm going to lose my streak. So I think we just need to add a little bit of information here just to show you like how long it's been since your last check-in and, when do you have to check in before so you don't lose your streak. I think that'll make things a lot easier for people to maintain their streaks. But the real powerful way to increase your speed of earnings is, because you can see right now, I'm getting 3.52 depth per day at, I got a little extra boost with that check-in. So I'm getting 1.03x speed right now. Or sorry, well, I guess I should be looking on this side. So that's what I'm getting right now. Again, this is the information after I do the next upgrade. So let's go ahead and speed up our earnings. So the main way that you guys are going to want to speed up your earnings is through sacrifices. So if we jump down here, Again, I'm going to figure out a slightly easier way to display this to make it more intuitive. It's very functional. It shows you I need 31.25 depth to max out my depth sacrifice, and I need 0.65 G blue to max out my G blue side of the sacrifice. These numbers are dynamic. So as the G blue to depth ratio changes, the cost to sacrifice G blue will go up and down, although it is locked in the contract that, like, for example, once you, okay, so this account actually doesn't have any G blue. So let's just say if I did have the G blue in this wallet and I sacrificed and I got my tier 5, even if the ratio changes, I'm still locked in at tier 5. The only time that ratio is going to come into effect is if I upgrade and I have to now sacrifice more. It's going to look at the new ratio to get me to that new tier 5 or whatever tier I'm looking to get to. But I do have depth in this wallet, so I can sacrifice some depth. So you can just see here, right? So I'm aiming to get to level 5 in terms of my sacrifice. So if I just start typing numbers in, if I put in 5 depth, that's where it's going to get me. If I put in, 25, it's going to get me there. Well, I want to get all the way. So I'm going to go 31.25. Again, feel free to ask any questions you guys have along the way. I know this can be, I'm trying to make it as simple as possible, but I know there is a couple mechanics that you got to kind of grasp to fully understand it. But so now you can see I'm getting 150% speed boost from that sacrifice. So if we go up here, now my numbers have jumped quite a bit. Before the 3.46, I remember I had to upgrade my vault to get that kind of daily earnings. I just got that by sacrificing. But now, the real power comes from a combination of upgrading and sacrificing. So let's go ahead and do another upgrade. So that's done. So now I'm at 4.55 depth per day. And now the next upgrade is looking really juicy. It's getting me up to 13.66. Does anybody have any questions about that? I think I've covered that fairly well in terms of how you can sacrifice to speed up your earnings. Oh yeah, actually, so another good thing to show you guys, I had sacrificed all the way up to level 5, but because I upgraded my vault tier, I went deeper in the ocean, I descended deeper. Now the sacrifice costs are different. So now I'm only a level 1 sacrifice now. So now I've got to throw in another 62.5 to catch up all the way to 100, right? So I would have needed 93.75 if I didn't already sacrifice in the previous tier, but you don't lose that sacrifice points. So now I just need 62.5 to max this out again. Let's go ahead and do that. A couple other things worth mentioning real quick here is on your claim, you can only accumulate a maximum of 7 days. Your rewards don't go to waste if you wait more than 7 days. It's just the amount of pending depth that you can claim is going to stop ticking up. Everything is based in terms of like how much you're going to make. Everything is based on your cap, right? So my cap is 2,500. I claimed so little, it's still showing 0 because it was like 0.002, I think it was. But essentially, if your rewards stop accumulating, it just means next time you claim, you're going to get that 7 days worth of rewards. And then after you claim, it'll start ticking up again. But again, it's not eating away at your cap unless you actually earn the tokens. So you're not actually out any tokens by hitting that 7 day mark. Something else worth mentioning is if you do max out both sacrifices, you get an additional 10% on your cap. So you can see, actually, well, I didn't do it. Let me go to another wallet where I did actually do that. So this is going to be my main one. I'm going to upgrade this a bit more. I just got to pick up some more depth. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be in that position where they say, hey, I really need a bit more depth to get to that next, vault tier. And then as soon as they get that vault tier, it's like, oh, I need more depth now to sacrifice more. And, it's all very worthwhile. We have the calculator page that you can use to, kind of just run the numbers and see like, if I'm at this tier with this amount of sacrifices, what do my daily earnings look like? That's the purpose of the calculator page, right? Like, so let's actually go and, I'm on Abyssal right now. So I'm on Abyssal. Maybe my goal is I want to get to Trench, right? And I say, okay, well, Trench, that's pretty cool. Trench maxed out. I'm going to be making $255 a day if I can get to Trench maxed out. Total cost to do that going to be about 17 grand. Already part of the way there, but that's my target for now. But definitely going to want to get to Mariana at some point. I'm sure a bunch of other guys are going to be striving for that as well. So, but yeah, that's the calculator real quick. Got a question here. Let me grab this. Is upgrading to next tier the primary method of speeding up earnings instead of sacrificing that current tier? So really you need to do a combination of both. So at your current tier, you're going to get more bang for your buck sacrificing. But like once you max the sacrifices, the only way to earn more is essentially to upgrade to the next tier. So I'd say like you probably always want to be max sacrificed. There's a lot of different strategies or different ways to play it. But yeah, I think, sacrificing to speed up your earnings is a really good value, I'd say. So one other important thing about the mechanics of this is when you sacrifice to speed up your earnings, you no longer have a 2-year cycle. You're going to reach your cap prior to 2 years, right? So at the max speed up, which I have here, I have a 4x speed up. If you go down to my sacrifices, you can see I sacrificed fully. Because of this, I'm going to hit my cap in about 6 months rather than 2 years. So once that happens, all you do is you pay a 10% recharge. So 10% of the upgrade cost of let me just go to the docs. It's a little bit easier. Recharging. Oh, sorry. It's 10% of the cap. Got the wording wrong there. So when your vault hits its emission cap, it goes dormant, recharge to start a new cycle. Recharging costs 10% of your tier's cap. So again, if you're in, Mariana at 500,000, it's going to cost you 50,000 depth to recharge, which is basically going to reset everything back to zero. You're still going to maintain that Mariana cap. So you're still at that same tier that you got to, but your earnings get reset to zero. Your sacrifices also get reset to zero. So essentially what you're doing is you're paying 10% to recharge, and then you also have to sacrifice again on top. Then you're like fully good to go for another, 6-month cycle, assuming you fully sacrifice. I hope that's not too much to take in. I think the docs is not too complicated, and it does, really explain everything quite well. So if anything that I just said is not clear, for one, feel free to ask me a question to clarify. I'm happy to do that, but also the docs does explain it quite well there. Let's actually check how the launch is looking so far. I know right before we went live, I got word that the abstract ecosystem team just retweeted one of our tweets. So expecting a lot of action to come in from that. Also, because we are giving a freebie away to AGW gold tier users at some point in the near future, well, I don't know exactly when, but we'll be listed as an official perk of having AGW gold tier. So that's going to drive a tremendous amount of users towards depth. So 147 souls minted so far. So amazing. We're barely an hour over launch. So incredible stuff there. And what really amazes me is the total supply. So we started with a 2 million total supply. We had about 10,000 depth burned just from taxes from trading. So, we've had another 115,000 plus depth burned just from people participating in the ecosystem. So what does that mean? So there's a lot of different things at play here. And I already talked about a lot of the theory behind the design decisions of the protocol in previous AMAs, but I think it's so good that it's worth talking about again. So essentially we have the free tier, and, with abstract support, we're bringing more volume and users to abstract with this great protocol that we just launched. And, we're giving a freebie away to the AGW gold tier users. So they're going to help us, in terms of just helping co-market with us. And of course, adding the AGW perk right to the portal. So that's going to bring in a lot of users. as you know, even if they come in as free users, the tier system was designed to make the first couple tiers quite achievable, and the sacrifices are not too expensive. So, you know, we're looking at, if we can bring in, you know, I think 10,000 is not a crazy number. If we can bring in 10,000 or more users into depth, you know, it just takes a certain percentage of those users to even dabble a little bit in, you know, upgrading tiers and upgrading their sacrifices. And we're going to end up burning so many tokens that I think, you know, supply shock is going to, you know, become inevitable. And if it just takes a, you know, a very small percentage of those users being like, not even power users, but just moderate crypto users that are, you know, that like a protocol, they're willing to put a couple $1,000 into it, you know, just a very small percentage of that wave of users that falls into that category, it's just going to absolutely rocket depth and GBlue. You know, because keep in mind, the only emissions are coming after people have really invested deeply into upgrading and sacrificing their depth soul. So there has to be a ton of demand for there to be emissions in the future. So it's you know, it's, again, it's a very experimental system. It's something I just came up with, and you know, the more that I've tweaked it and worked on it and thought about it, you know, I really think it's super explosive, super fun, and I think there's a ton of money to be made here. But yeah, no, I'm super happy with how launch is going. 148 souls minted. I'm not sure exactly how many of those were mints from AGW. Last I checked, it was about 90% of them were from AGW, but last time I checked, it was at about 90 minted. So let's see what else I got here to cover. And again, guys, you know, let me know your feedback. Let me know what you're thinking about the protocol, how you like everything so far, if everything's been easy to kind of figure out, if you know, love to get some feedback or questions from you guys. In order to maximize earnings, should one sacrifice at each tier instead of just using the upgrade function to next tier? So again, there's a lot of different strategy here. Like, so what I would recommend is you're probably going to want to max sacrifice, right? So what that essentially means is you're going to want to upgrade to the highest tier you can upgrade to while still being able to max your sacrifices. But again, sacrifices don't go to waste. So you can, let's go back to that wallet that I was working on just so I can kind of demonstrate this. So let's head over to my dashboard. So again, I don't have any GBlue in this wallet, so I'm not going to be maxing out that side. Although I would highly recommend. So yeah, it's saying I don't have any balance in my wallet, so let's just leave that alone. So I've maxed out my sacrifice on the depth side for my current tier. So let's just pretend that I got the GBlue side maxed out as well. So, you know, the next step, I got to upgrade, because that's the only way to increase your earnings, you know, if you're already max sacrificed. You know, so now I actually don't have enough depth to go to the next level there. But you can see that, like, all the existing sacrifices I've done, I'm still getting credit for them. I just need to sacrifice more to be able to hit the max. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And there, now my sacrifice is all maxed on the depth side. And again, I would highly recommend maxing both sides. I just don't happen to have any GBlue sitting in this wallet at the moment. And I hope that answered your question. You know, again, it's really it really depends on how you want to play it. You know, you don't have to max out the sacrifices. You can choose to receive your rewards over a longer period of time, or you can, you know, maybe some people might want to upgrade their tier as deep as they can possibly go and then work on the sacrifices over time, or maybe use some of your rewards that you get to, you know, improve your sacrifices. Or another option, you know, another strategy might be to, you know, keep your sacrifices maxed and then save up a bunch of your rewards and use those rewards to then upgrade your tier to the next level. There's just so many different ways to play it, really depending on, you know, what you think is best and, you know, how you want to play it, really. Thanks for the question, though. I think everybody's probably learning quite a bit from you guys asking questions and me answering. We got a question here, a great question. Why only burn depth, not buy and burn? Well, I mean, because this all comes down to like the source of the token, right? Like, so if the protocol is taking in depth tokens, essentially we can't buy because the user already bought them, right? The user had to obtain the tokens some way. So once they submit it to the protocol, like to the smart contract, I mean, all we can really do at that point is burn them, or there's only so many options. To do a buy and burn, you have to have some other kind of asset coming in, right? So like if we charged USDC for sacrifices, then we could do a buy and burn, right? But then there wouldn't be buy pressure on depth to perform the sacrifices. And actually, one thing I haven't talked about yet is that so our depth token and our depth soul NFT are regular standard Solidity smart contracts, meaning that they're immutable. They're the code is set in stone. Our emission controller, which controls a lot of the pretty much all of the mechanics of earning, sacrificing, upgrading tiers, all these different things, that's all controlled by the emission controller, which is actually an upgradable contract. So if we do figure out, maybe as a community, if someone comes up with some great idea of how this can be improved, that is possible in the future. So there is quite a lot of different things that we can improve in the future. And I thought of that because of when I said USDC sacrifices. Well, maybe we do add a third sacrifice category in the future. Maybe it is USDC, and maybe we do a buy and burn with it, right? So it's not out of the question there. It's something that we can look at in the future. But thanks for the question. I'd love some feedback though. I know I've mentioned to you guys a lot that my favorite part of the site is the homepage, where as you scroll down, it gets darker and darker, like you're descending the depths of the ocean. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to get some feedback on how easy it was for you guys to mint, how easy it's been for you guys to upgrade, and the sacrifice system, and if it makes sense to you, or if there's certain things that don't make sense. So that way I can work to improve it. I mean, or just general feedback. If you're loving the protocol already, then I'd love to hear about it. So I mean, I think I've covered most of it. I mean, all that I have left to really talk about is what's coming next. But maybe I'll wait and see if any other questions or comments come in on what I've talked about so far before I get into what you can expect to see next for depth. Oh, we're going to crack 150 depth souls minted any second now. Actually, I guess another operational update. Let's take a look at the depth chart. And the depth chart is actually holding quite well if you take into consideration, we've done bonding. So again, I'm not sure if everybody's aware of this, but the two ways that you can acquire depth is either through purchasing depth. You can purchase it on the Aborian website, or the easiest way is to purchase it through the swap page. You can also get depth by bonding, which is where you either use USDC or GBlue to get depth at a discount. So right now there's a 2% and a 6% discount. You do have to wait 1 day to claim. You have to wait 1 day to claim that depth token, so you don't get it immediately. But this is, it's worth keeping an eye on this to see if there's any big discounts. Like the GBlue 6% discounts looking pretty good right now. But the other reason I wanted to show you guys this is that we started with 100,000 capacity in both of these markets. So we've sold just shy of 150, or just shy of 150,000 depth. Wait, is that right? Yeah, we sold just shy of 150,000 depth through bonding. So oftentimes those bonding tokens will get sold on the open market, and so that is part of the reason for the decline in price. Although I will say, it is holding very steady considering the 150,000 depth that have been bonded out. But I think, the reason that we did the bonding system in the first place is, for you guys that know me, that, I'm a big fan of a couple of things. One of them is really thick liquidity. We're using that USDC that we take in to build up our depth USDC pair. And I'm going to show you how that's going in a second. It's going super well. But also, I'm a big believer in price stability. I'd rather have us stable at 20, 30, 40, 50 cents as opposed to not having the bonding markets, and then we have supply shock, we go up to $2, and then we drop back down because there's liquidity's thinner, and just I'd rather have the price slowly increase as we bring on a lot more users, and I want to have a lot of thick liquidity throughout that. So I think that the fact that the price came down a little bit is actually extremely healthy in my opinion, especially with the bonding offerings that we have. We're just getting more tokens out into the circulating supply in a healthy way. So overall, extremely happy with that. We got $156,000 of liquidity on our depth G Blue pair. And let's pop over to the other pair. This is going better than expected so far. We've got 26K of liquidity on our depth USDC pair. So again, the proceeds that we're getting from USDC from bonding are going straight into building liquidity on depth USDC. So that's been going exceptionally well. Let me catch up with a couple of these questions that we got here. How to mint using the G Blue bot. Yeah, so that feature is coming, should be coming later today. I've been super tied up because like I mentioned earlier, I got a business trip that I'm leaving. I got to leave at like 4 a.m. Tonight. So that was a little bit unexpected, a bit of an emergency in a good way. Some business that has to get taken care of, but positive things, but it just happened very quickly. But no, I should have time to get that fully finished up. The way that's going to work is going to be a little bit different than what I originally said. Because I want to make things as easy as possible for users. So this is still going to happen fully through the depth website. So once I make the update to the bot and to the depth website, you're just going to be able to go to, let's see, let me find a wallet that doesn't have a position yet. This one. So here, it's gonna also just, if you don't have a position and you're not on AGW, or if you're not AGW Gold, it's going to just check our TG bot via API to just see if you qualify. And if you qualify, it's going to have the same thing that AGW shows, where it just says like claim free mint. So essentially, you need to just be connected up with the G Blue bot. I'm still deciding on the exact requirement. I think we're probably going to require a 250 tier score on the G Blue TG bot, which is, basically anybody can get there for basically free if you just put in a little bit of effort. So for example, just connecting an AGW wallet to the Blue TG bot already gets you to 200 points. So the extra 50 is it's really easy to get. But yeah, so it's going to be as simple as that. As long as you're set up with the TG bot through the G Blue TG channel and through the TG bot, you're going to be able to just come to this page. And once your wallet's connected, it's just going to tell you, okay, you qualify for a free mint. And then you're going to be able to just click claim free position right on the website. Each TG account is only allowed a single free mint. So your actual free mint is tied to your Telegram account, not to your wallet. So you can't just go ahead and claim, an unlimited number of free positions. So that's how that's all going to work. So that was a bit more information than you asked for, Max, but I think that thoroughly answered your question. Millions. So to get to say Abyssal, can I upgrade straight there? Do I need to progress through each one level? So you do need to progress through each level to get there, but it's not 125 each time. The cost is actually different for each tier that you go up. So you'll see the cost. You'll see the costs when you go to do it, right? So for example, on that one that I just demonstrated for you guys, you can see my next upgrade cost is 1875. Or like on like the wallet, like my main wallet, I'm going to be using it. I'm up to 22,500 depth I need to get to the next tier, which I'll definitely be doing, and I'll definitely be purchasing some tokens to make that happen. So I either sacrifice with depth or G Blue, not both. Nope, you got to sacrifice with both if you want to max out. So if you look down here, you can see I've maxed out both categories to 5 out of 5. So you can see that for my tier Abyssal, it required 1,875 depth. Let me zoom in a bit for you guys. 1,875 depth was required to get to the max, and I have 0 remaining because I already paid them all. And I also needed 38.42 G Blue. And of course, I already paid that as well. So I have 0 remaining. So So yeah, you definitely need to max both if you want to get maximum speed. Sure, it'll make more sense when I get my laptop. Yep. 100%. Definitely easy or was clear to upgrade. However, maybe if UI has a message at each upgrade to consider sacrificing to earn more faster, may be useful. Yeah, that's one of the main things that I'm looking to improve. So I think our dashboard, I think it's like super functional. Like I think, obviously everything works really well. I just don't think it's easy enough to find the right information. And I think the information can get laid out a lot better. So yeah, I agree with you 100%. I'm still kind of brainstorming exactly what that would look like. I was talking to Nick about it. I was thinking maybe like having the dashboard where you can like kind of just see all your important stuff at a glance. Something that would be like really great for screenshotting to share to kind of show off how your depth soul. But then having maybe expandable sections. So if you want to upgrade your depth soul, maybe that's like, you click upgrade and it kind of expands just so like, you don't always have all the options available on every part of the dashboard. So I'm looking at different ways to, improve that. But yeah, the dashboard layout is definitely one of the biggest things I'm looking to improve. Thanks for that comment though. If you mint by paying 125 and you qualify for the TG bot free mint, do you also get the free mint, or you can only have one NFT per wallet? So what you could do there is you can pay the 125 to mint on your wallet. Everybody that is a qualifying TG bot member, I guess you could say, like if you have a wallet connected and you have at least the 250 score tier, which is like just the member status, you'll be able to mint a free position. You just won't be able to mint it to that same wallet that already has one. So if you only have one wallet, you could just set up a second wallet. I'd recommend using AGW. I mean, AGW works awesome on Abstract. So if you have a traditional wallet, you can just go ahead and pay the 125 to get started right now. And then, just connecting an AGW up with the G Blue bot, you can, even if you're not gold tier, you still qualify for a free mint from the TG bot. So you'll be able to mint one either to your AGW that you just created or to anywhere. Yeah, I mean, you can see it's pretty awesome to just see the rewards ticking up there. Is there any positive correlation between the burn and the depth price? Like more burns always means higher price. So this is an interesting one. So I think this is actually like a common misconception is like people just think that a burn automatically makes price go up. It doesn't quite work that way, right? Because for example, our multi-sig is holding, 800,000 tokens that are going to be used for continuing to add liquidity and for, potential future bonding markets. If I burned all those tokens right now, the price doesn't change, right? The way that this impacts the price is that we've created so many mechanics within depth that require depth tokens. So for people to upgrade their tier, to descend deeper and be able to earn more, they've got to buy depth, but then that depth gets burned. So it is essentially a buy and burn. It's just that the user's doing the buy, the protocol is doing the burn. And that in turn does increase price, right? So yeah, I think just the fact that, we're constantly burning, that's going to create supply shock because there's only so many tokens available in the LPs and the bonding markets are almost fully sold out. So in order to earn, you've got to spend depth. In order to spend depth, you've got to buy it. And we're burning it as the protocol's burning it as it comes in. I don't know why. I feel like I always give like way too long of an answer to questions. trying to be thorough, I guess, but maybe I'm answering more than necessary. But all right. I'm going to start getting into what is coming next, what to expect with depth. And again, I'm going to be away for the next like 3-4 days. So I will have my laptop and everything with me, but I'm not sure how much work I'm going to be getting done on this specifically. But once I get back, obviously all focus is back on G Blue and depth. But what's coming next is some of the stuff I already talked about. So some of the website updates. Well, of course, the TG bot free mint is coming. That's coming very, very likely to be in the next couple hours. overall improvements to the website. As I get feedback about what can be improved, what people are having a hard time understanding, the dashboard is going to have massive improvements to, a lot of the stuff I already talked about there in terms of the dashboard. We're also going to have a leaderboard. I think there's going to be a lot of like friendly competition about, who's going to reach those deepest tiers first. And I think having a leaderboard, that's tightly integrated as well with AGW, because with AGW wallets, we're able to like pull down users' images, their name, their description of their user, and we can show all that stuff on a leaderboard. And, similar to, actually, I can show you a Borean. They got an Ascension leaderboard, so it could look something like this, right? So they're showing the name, the image, and the description of the different users. So we can do something very similar to this, just to have some friendly competition, and maybe we'll actually run some giveaways or some other sorts of competitions that will base off the leaderboard. We got a question. Marketing plans. Yeah, we're gonna do. I think we're going to do all kinds of stuff for marketing. The first thing is that we want to get this in a really great state, and we want to have Abstract on board as much as possible. So the more that we can do with Abstract, the better. So that's why we're going to be getting the gold perk. I mean, I think the tens of thousands of users we can likely get in by having an Abstract official perk is probably better than anything else that we can do marketing wise. But we're going to do many different things to get as many users as possibly as we possibly can. I think running another deck screener ad is going to be something we definitely do. The last deck screener ad that we ran, it lasted for I think 40 days. So it boosted our trending and gave us great visibility on deck screener for 40 days, all for $1,000. So we'll definitely be doing that. And again, with Abstract, not only are we going to be working to get the perk, hopefully we can get a badge in the future, but we're going to be getting continuous support from them in terms of just co-marketing and amplifying some of our good posts. So we're going to be doing everything that we need to do to really get as many people on board here as we can. And again, the whole protocol is designed around free to enter, get a taste for free, make it very cheap for people to accelerate, to upgrade and to accelerate their earnings. And some people are going to want to go deeper, some people are going to be happy there, but either way, it's going to create a very active and super engaged ecosystem of users. I think word of mouth is going to be a great way to spread the word as well. Like, people are going to want to talk about a new opportunity, right? Like that's, I know some of my most successful protocols that I've ever operated in the past, some of, the best marketing has always been when someone's like, hey, this is a great protocol. I got to make a video about this, or I got to tell my friends about this because I don't want them to miss out on this. Right. And I think that this is the caliber of protocol that we have. I think our whole ecosystem is that caliber. And, I think that this protocol is great on its own, but I think it's also going to, be incredibly beneficial to GBlue. GBlue is doing, I know this is a depth AMA here, but GBlue's been doing great. With the GBlue price increasing, our bribes are getting a lot more power on a Borean, and our APR on the GBlue ETH LP is looking incredible. So, we're really just trying to fire on all cylinders. And, I've said it in the Telegram that, it doesn't really matter what the broader market's doing. If we work hard enough, if we put out enough of the right solutions, and find the right product market fit, and, get support from the right partners, we can do anything in any market conditions. And I strongly believe that. So, I think when the market picks up, it's going to be incredible for us, but I think we're going to do extremely well even in the meantime. So there I go again with a 5-minute answer to a 2-word question, but but yeah, that's pretty much it for today. I mean, that's what you guys can expect to see in the future is the TG bot integration, massive website updates, some marketing pushes, collaboration with Abstract. We're going to be getting as much as we can from them in terms of support, and a leaderboard coming up on the website, and as well as other website updates. So that's pretty much what I got for you guys for today. I'm not sure if I'll be doing Thursday's AMA. I am going to be in Vancouver on Thursday, so maybe I'll see once I get there tomorrow. I'll see what the setup is like, and if I'll be able to do maybe a short AMA from there. But if not, we might have to skip this week and and then we'll catch up next week. But I'm going to try and make it happen, even if it's just a short AMA on Thursday. But any final questions or comments from you guys? We got a pretty good turnout for today's stream. I mean, unfortunately, the abstract stream was not working when I tried to get that going, but we got 110 plus viewers on X and 25 plus on YouTube. So love seeing the viewer counts up on these streams. All right. Well, it seems like no more questions or comments are rolling in. So again, congrats to everybody that's part of the community. You're here right on day one, right in the first couple hours of the launch. And again, let's look at these stats. 157, and we're up to almost 140,000 depth burned. That's incredible. I mean, this is going to have supply shock. There's, it's just a matter of time, not financial advice, but I know every morning when I wake up, I'm just going to be super excited to look at these numbers right here. But, all right, guys, guess that's it for today. So everybody enjoy your descent down into the depths. See you guys at the bottom, and let's all make a lot of money. Let's all, tell all our friends about this, and yeah, congrats everybody for being part of a really great and successful launch. Actually, one thing I wanted to show you guys real quick. OpenSea. I got our OpenSea listing set up. I mean, it's not overly useful just because obviously you can't trade NFTs, but I just thought it'd be cool to have this set up properly. And a lot of these the metadata takes some time to update, so I'm sure a lot of these are upgraded a lot more than it's showing here. But yeah, we do have an OpenSea page where you can kind of browse, and you'll also be able to see your NFT in your, like, if you use MetaMask. I don't think Rabby is showing it properly yet, but I know MetaMask is. If you have MetaMask set up and you have your depth soul in your MetaMask, you should see it right in your NFTs there with the image. And yeah, exciting stuff, guys. Very exciting stuff. Del the Whale, what's up, buddy? Yeah, man, I'm really pumped about this protocol. So hope you guys are as pumped as me. And yeah, I mean, I really feel that this number of souls minted is going to hit 5 digits. We've got everything that we need to make that happen. We've got strong cooperation with the and collaboration with the abstract team. So it's just a matter of time. So take that information and do what you want with it. And yeah, have a great rest of the week, guys. And yeah, like I said, I'll be gone in Vancouver for the next couple of days, but yeah, I'll keep you guys posted with an announcement about if and when Thursday AMA is going to be happening this week. All right, guys. See you guys in the community. Find me in Telegram if you guys have any other questions, and I'll see you guys soon.